Do you hear it? The echoes of the past, the whispers of forgotten truths, fragments of memories lost in the shadows. Welcome to BRAINROT, Echoes, where we bring you stories long buried, unravel mysteries cloaked by time, and guide you through the darkest corners of the mind and the universe. Each video is more than just content. It's an echo resonating deep within, urging you to question, to wonder, to explore. Backend index pointing right, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join us in listening to the echoes the world tried to silence. The Warship, Audacity, and diplomatic Fortuity. Commander Liam Frost, his face etched with the fatigue of 3 consecutive night shifts, stared at the holographic display. The cold blue light of the starship Audacity's bridge reflected off his weathered face, highlighting the bags under his eyes, souvenirs from sleepless nights. Represent humanity. Act as our diplomatic vessel. Show these aliens we come in peace. Admiral Kowalski's pixelated face replied from the quantum comm link. His tone suggested this was a perfectly reasonable request. The Galactic Confederacy has requested a face-to-face meeting, and your ship is the closest. Liam set his coffee mug down with deliberate care. Sir, with all due respect, this is a Havoc-class destroyer. We're literally called the Audacity. Our hull has a round and find out painted in 16-foot letters across the bow. It's a cultural expression, the Admiral replied, deadpan. We have 38 different weapon systems. Self-defense capabilities. Our AI is named Mayhem, Liam explained. An unfortunate acronym. Military Analytical Yield Optimizing Heuristic Enhancement Matrix. Sounds quite peaceful if you don't abbreviate it. Liam pinched the bridge of his nose. We have a coffee mug in the mess hall that says, I'd tell you to go to hell, but I work there and don't want to see you every day. Commander Frost, I understand your concerns, but you're the only ship within 3 parsecs of the contact zone. The Galactic Confederacy has specifically requested to meet us before officially welcoming Earth into their little club. They want to assess our technological development. Standard procedure, apparently. And you want to send us the most heavily armed vessel in this quadrant. Precisely because of that. The Admiral leaned forward, his expression serious. We don't know these aliens. First contact went well enough with their scouts, but this is the actual governing body. I want them to see what humanity can do if pushed. A gentle reminder that we may be the new kids on the block, but we're not to be trifled with. So, diplomatic intimidation. I prefer peace through visible deterrence. You'll have a diplomatic team aboard, of course. Ambassador Mitchell and his staff will transfer over at Ganymede Station. You pick them up, take them to the rendezvous, smile pretty for the cameras, and let the diplomats do the talking. Liam sighed. When do we leave? 12 hours. Enough time to make your ship look somewhat less threatening. Should I put a bow on our railguns? If you have one large enough, it couldn't hurt, Kowalski said, then ended the call. The hologram flickered off, leaving Liam alone with his cooling coffee and mounting headache. He pressed the intercom button, XO to the bridge, and someone find Chief Donovan. Tell him to get ready to make this warship look like it doesn't want to murder everything in a 5 light-year radius. 12 hours, it turned out, was not nearly enough time to make a Havoc-class destroyer look friendly. They'd managed to power down the more obvious weapon systems and had deactivated the external targeting arrays. But there was no hiding what the Audacity was designed for. The ship was essentially one massive gun with engines attached, and crew quarters squeezed in as an afterthought. Standing in the docking bay as Ambassador Mitchell and his team of 5 diplomats boarded, Liam felt distinctly uncomfortable in his dress uniform. The starched collar chafed against his neck, and the ceremonial saber at his side kept banging against his leg when he walked. Commander Frost, the ambassador, a slim man with salt and pepper hair and the polished smile of a career diplomat, extended his hand. A pleasure to meet you. I've heard impressive things about you and your ship. Liam shook the offered hand. Most of them are probably true, and all of them are classified. Mitchell laughed as if Liam had made a joke. He hadn't. Well, I'm looking forward to working together. This meeting with the Confederacy Council is a historic moment. Earth's formal introduction to galactic society. The fate of human interstellar relations could hinge on the impression we make. No pressure, then, Liam replied dryly. None at all. Mitchell agreed with another polished smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Now, perhaps you could show us to our quarters? We have preparations to make before the rendezvous. Liam nodded and gestured to Lieutenant Kai Jiang, his second officer. Lieutenant Jiang will show you to the diplomatic suite. What they called the diplomatic suite was actually the officers' recreation room, hastily converted with partitions and some borrowed furniture from the officers' quarters. Still, it was the most spacious area they could offer without putting the diplomats into the cargo hold, an option Liam had seriously considered for about 30 seconds. After the diplomats had been escorted away, Liam turned to his executive officer, Commander Diana Wells, who had been silently observing the exchange. Thoughts, Diana? Diana, a tall woman with cropped black hair and a perpetual expression of mild disappointment, shrugged. Politicians doing politician things. They'll talk, smile, shake appendages, or whatever these aliens have, and will stand around looking menacing, but not too menacing. Admiral wants us to look tough, but not hostile on this ship. Diana gestured around them. The safety labels have skulls and crossbones. Our mess hall has a daze since last stab and countersign. It's been reset only twice this year. We're improving, Liam pointed out. The point is, sir, we can paint this tiger with all the stripes we want, but any alien with scanning technology is going to know exactly what kind of ship this is. That's what worries me. The Confederacy requested a meeting to assess our technological development. What they don't like, what they see. Diana's eyes gleamed. Then they'll find out why we named the ship Audacity. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Brief the crew on diplomatic protocols. No swearing in front of the aliens. No challenging them to drinking contests. And absolutely no showing off weapons just because they asked about them. You're taking all the fun out of first contact, sir. That's what they pay me for, XO. 3 days later, the Audacity dropped out of FTL at the designated coordinates, a neutral section of space equidistant between Earth-controlled territory and the nearest Confederacy outpost. The diplomatic rendezvous point was a massive space station that resembled a glittering silver snowflake, delicate arms spiraling out from a central hub. That's not what I expected, Liam admitted as he stared at the main view screen. I was thinking more along the lines of a fortress, or at least something with visible defenses. Ambassador Mitchell, who had joined them on the bridge for their approach, smiled. The Galactic Confederacy prides itself on being a peaceful coalition. They've apparently moved beyond the need for militarized structures. Everyone needs defenses, Liam muttered. Even if they're hidden. Scan the station, he ordered the tactical officer. Passive scans only. Let's not appear too nosy on our first visit. Lieutenant Raza Nazari, the tactical officer, ran his hands over his console. Scanning, sir, but I'm not picking up much. Their whole material seems to scatter our sensor beams. Convenient, Diana remarked from her station. We're being hailed, Communications Officer Eliza Okafor announced. Audio and visual on screen, Liam ordered, straightening his uniform and trying to look appropriately diplomatic. The view screen shifted to show a being that resembled nothing so much as a blue octopus wearing an elaborate metallic harness. Multiple eyes blinked at them from a bulbous head. Greetings, humans of Earth vessel, the alien said, its translator rendering its speech into perfect if slightly stilted English. I am Coordinator Xyloplith of the Galactic Confederacy Welcome Committee. We are pleased to receive your diplomatic delegation. Ambassador Mitchell stepped forward. Coordinator Xyloplith, I am Ambassador Evan Mitchell of Earth. We come in peace and friendship, eager to establish formal relations with the Confederacy. Most excellent, the alien replied, several tentacles moving in what might have been a gesture of approval. We have assigned docking Bay 14 for your vessel. Our scanning protocols require that we perform a technological assessment before you board. Standard procedure for all new species. I assure you it is non-invasive. Mitchell glanced at Liam, who gave a slight nod. We understand, Coordinator. Please proceed with your scan. Commencing now. This will take only moments. Liam felt a slight vibration through the deck plates as an invisible energy wave passed through the ship. "Sir," Lieutenant Nazari said quietly, "they're conducting a deep-level scan, much more powerful than they implied. They're getting readings on everything. Weapon systems, engine capabilities, even our classified tech." Before Liam could respond, there was a noticeable pause on the other end of the communication. Coordinator Xyloplith's many eyes had widened, and several of its tentacles were now moving rapidly, touching various controls off-screen. "Is there a problem, Coordinator?" Ambassador Mitchell asked smoothly. "No problem," the alien replied, though its voice modulation had changed. "Your vessel is most interesting. I see it is equipped with substantial defensive capabilities. We believe in being prepared," Mitchell said diplomatically. Indeed, another pause. "There appears to be some confusion. We were expecting a diplomatic vessel." Liam stepped forward. "The Audacity is a multi-purpose craft, Coordinator. We are fully equipped for scientific research, humanitarian aid, and yes, defense if necessary. Earth believes in ships that can adapt to any situation." "I see. More tentacle movements. Please hold your position temporarily. I must consult with the Confederacy Council regarding docking protocols for vessels of your configuration." The communication ended abruptly. "Well," Diana said into the silence that followed, "that went about as well as expected." Ambassador Mitchell turned to Liam, his diplomatic smile strained. "What exactly did they just scan?" "Everything," Lieutenant Nazari answered. "Their scan was orders of magnitude more powerful than anything we've encountered. They know our offensive capabilities, defensive systems, engine output, even the experimental quantum torpedo prototype we're carrying." "The what?" Mitchell's voice rose an octave. "Classified project," Liam said smoothly. "Nothing to worry about." "Nothing to." Mitchell took a deep breath. "Commander, we're here on a peaceful diplomatic mission. Why is your ship carrying experimental weapons?" "Because we're a warship, Ambassador. It's literally what we do. The Admiral wanted to make an impression, and I'd say we've succeeded." "This is not the kind of impression we were hoping to make." Before Liam could respond, Officer Okafor spoke up. "Sir, I'm picking up increased communications between the station and several points outside the system. Massive data packets. They're calling for backup," Diana translated. "We don't know that," Mitchell insisted. "No, they're definitely calling for backup," Lieutenant Nazari confirmed, studying his readings. "The station just powered up some kind of subspace beacon, very high energy output." Liam turned to the ambassador. "Sir, with all due respect, I think we should prepare for the possibility that this peaceful confederation might not be as welcoming as we hoped." Mitchell's face had paled slightly. "What are you suggesting?" "Nothing dramatic. We'll maintain position and wait for their response, but I'm putting the ship on yellow alert and activating our defensive systems quietly." "Commander, that could be seen as an aggressive move." "Ambassador, they just scanned our entire ship without permission, identified our weapons capabilities, and immediately called for reinforcements. I'm not being aggressive. I'm being prudent." Mitchell looked like he wanted to argue further, but was interrupted by Officer Okafor. "Incoming communication from a station." On screen, Liam ordered. Coordinator Xyloplith reappeared, now joined by 3 other aliens of different species. One that resembled a bipedal insect, another that looked almost feline, and a third that was essentially a floating cloud of luminescent particles within a containment field. "Earth vessel," Xyloplith began, all pretense of warmth gone from its translated voice. "The Confederacy Council has reviewed your ship's specifications with great concern." "Is there a problem?" Ambassador Mitchell asked, trying to maintain his diplomatic tone. The insectoid alien chittered something, and the translator rendered it as, "Your vessel violates 17 different Confederacy protocols regarding militarization of diplomatic craft. The weapons systems alone exceed the combined firepower of an entire Confederacy defense fleet." "And your point is?" Liam asked before he could stop himself. Mitchell shot him a warning glance before turning back to the screen. "What my colleague means is that Earth's defensive policies may differ from Confederacy standards. We come from a region of space with its own unique challenges. The quantum torpedo prototype you carry, the cloud being said, its voice's strange harmonic chorus, is capable of destabilizing space-time itself. Such weapons are forbidden under Confederacy law. Good thing we're not part of the Confederacy yet, Diana muttered just loud enough for Liam to hear. The feline alien leaned forward. We must insist that you power down all weapon systems and prepare to be boarded. Your technology must be assessed and, if necessary, confiscated before diplomatic relations can proceed. A heavy silence fell across the bridge. Ambassador Mitchell looked utterly stunned. Confiscated? Liam repeated incredulously. You want to board a sovereign Earth vessel and confiscate our technology? It is standard procedure for species that demonstrate concerning levels of military development, Xyloplith explained, not sounding sorry at all, for the greater peace of the galactic community. Liam exchanged glances with Diana, whose expression had hardened into something dangerous. Ambassador, Liam said quietly, I need to confer with you privately. Mitchell nodded stiffly, and they stepped away from the pickup range of the communication system. This isn't a diplomatic mission, Liam said in a low voice. It's a technology assessment to see if we're a threat, and apparently we've failed their little test. This is unprecedented, Mitchell whispered back. The initial contact team reported the Confederacy was welcoming and peaceful. Maybe they were, until they realized what we're capable of. I'm guessing they underestimated humanity's technological development. They expected a pre-FTL civilization they could guide and control, not one with quantum torpedoes. Mitchell ran a hand through his hair. What do we do? We can't just let them board us and take our technology. Damn right we can't. Liam's jaw set. We need to stall while I contact Earth Command for instructions. They returned to the communication range. Coordinator Mitchell said smoothly, this request requires consultation with our government. We'll need to establish a secure communication channel with Earth before proceeding. I am afraid that will not be possible, the insectoid alien replied. Your vessel's communication capabilities have been temporarily inhibited for security purposes. Lieutenant Okafor confirmed this with a grim nod to Liam. They're blocking all outgoing transmissions, sir. Liam felt a cold anger settle in his stomach. So, let me get this straight. You scanned our ship without consent. You're blocking our communications, and now you want us to surrender our technology? That sounds less like diplomacy and more like piracy. Your understanding of galactic protocols is understandably limited, Xyloplith said condescendingly. The Confederacy has maintained peace for 12,000 cycles by ensuring no emerging species introduces destabilizing technology. In other words, Diana said loudly, you bully newcomers into giving up anything that might challenge your dominance. The feline alien's ears flattened against its skull. You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded, or we will be forced to take more direct action. Direct action? Mitchell repeated, alarmed. Are you threatening us? Not at all, the cloud being said soothingly. We merely wish to ensure compliance with Confederacy standards. 4 of our security vessels are already approaching your position. They will assist in the orderly transfer of prohibited technology. Lieutenant Nazari confirmed this with a nod. 4 ships just dropped out of FTL behind us, sir. Confederacy designs, heavily armed. Liam had heard enough. He straightened to his full height and addressed the aliens directly. Coordinator Xyloplith and members of the Confederacy Council, I am Commander Liam Frost of the Earth vessel Audacity. I must inform you that under Earth law, any attempt to board this vessel without permission constitutes an act of war. We will defend ourselves accordingly. Ambassador Mitchell looked horrified but didn't contradict him. The aliens seemed taken aback by this direct challenge. You are outnumbered and outgunned, Commander, the insectoid said after a moment. Your ship, impressive as it may be for an emerging species, cannot hope to stand against Confederacy forces. Liam smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Commander, the ambassador whispered urgently, what are you doing? Playing the only card we have left, Liam whispered back before addressing the aliens again. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to withdraw your ships in this communication block, and then we're going to have an actual diplomatic discussion like civilized beings. Or what? Xyloplith prompted. Or I show you exactly why this ship is called the Audacity. The cloud being rippled in what might have been amusement. Your bravado is noted, Commander, but hardly relevant. Our security vessels have your ship targeted. Resistance would be futile and disastrous for you. Liam turned to Lieutenant Nazari. Tactical, activate countermeasures protocol, Omega. Let's show our new friends what they're dealing with. Sir, Nazari said with a slight smile. It would be my genuine pleasure. He tapped a sequence into his console, and throughout the ship, previously dormant systems hummed to life. On the whole, concealed ports open to reveal targeting arrays and weapon systems that have been deliberately hidden from casual observation. What's happening? The feline alien demanded as alarms began to sound on their end of the communication. Just a little demonstration, Liam explained casually. You see, when you scanned us, we allowed you to see what we wanted you to see. But an Earth warship is never as simple as it appears. On the tactical display, 18 different weapon systems had locked onto the 4 approaching Confederacy vessels, while another dozen targeted the station itself. Sir, Mayhem's cool synthetic voice announced over the ship's speakers. Targeting solution complete. Quantum displacement field generators online. Chrono disruptors charged, waiting for your command. The aliens were now visibly alarmed. Tentacles, antennae, and whatever else they had waving in agitation. Impossible, the insectoid chittered. Our scans detected nothing of this magnitude. That's because humans have been playing hide-and-seek with deadly weapons since before we discovered fire, Liam informed them. We're very, very good at it. Ambassador Mitchell, who had been watching this exchange with increasing dismay, finally intervened. What my military colleague is trying to express, albeit dramatically, is that Earth does not respond well to coercion. We came here in good faith to establish diplomatic relations, not to surrender our sovereignty or technology. Your technology represents a threat to galactic stability, Xyloplith insisted, though with noticeably less conviction. Then perhaps, Mitchell suggested, we should discuss mutual security concerns through diplomatic channels rather than threats. Earth is willing to negotiate reasonable restrictions on certain weapons technologies after we have established formal relations and mutual trust. The 4 alien representatives conferred among themselves in a series of untranslated communications. Your ship remains a concern, the cloud being finally said. My ship, Liam countered, remains under Earth jurisdiction and will not be boarded or disarmed. However, as a show of good faith, I'm willing to power down our more aggressive capabilities for the duration of the diplomatic talks. Another conference among the aliens followed. This is acceptable, Xyloplith eventually declared. Your security vessels may maintain standard defensive capabilities only. Our ships will withdraw to a monitoring position, and the communication block, Liam prompted, will be lifted, the feline acknowledged reluctantly. Ambassador Mitchell stepped forward. Then shall we begin actual diplomatic discussions? Perhaps in a setting more conducive to peaceful negotiations than our respective command centers. The tensions slowly ebbed as arrangements were made for a proper diplomatic meeting aboard the station. As the communication ended, Mitchell turned to Liam with an expression that mingled relief and irritation. Commander, while I appreciate your creative approach to negotiation, in the future, please consult with me before threatening interstellar war. Liam shrugged. They started it. That is not a diplomatic response. It worked, didn't it? Mitchell sighed deeply. Yes, it did. And that might be the most disturbing part of all this. I need to contact Earth immediately. This changes everything we thought we knew about the Confederacy. As the ambassador hurried off to establish contact with Earth Command, Diana approached Liam. So, she said with a smirk, Protocol Omega? We don't have a Protocol Omega. They don't know that, Liam replied. Besides, Mayhem played along beautifully. I aim to please, Commander, the AI responded from a nearby console. Though I should note that I did not actually activate any weapon systems not previously revealed. I merely created the impression of additional capabilities through strategic power fluctuations and sensor ghosts. See, this is why I love this ship. Liam patted the console affectionately. We don't even need real superweapons when we can fake them so convincingly. Sir, Lieutenant Nazari called from Tactical. I'm detecting additional ships entering the system. Lots of them. Confederacy reinforcements? No, sir. The configuration is Earth Fleet. It's the Intrepid Battle Group. Admiral Kowalski's flagship is leading them. Liam's eyebrows shot up. The Admiral brought the 7th Fleet? How'd they get here so fast? Message coming in from the Intrepid, sir. Officer Okafor announced. Text only. It says, thought you might need backup. Don't start the party without us. Diana laughed. Seems the Admiral wasn't as trusting of our new friends as he let on. Or he knows me too well and figured I'd manage to turn a diplomatic mission into an interstellar incident within the first hour, Liam suggested. Both can be true, Diana pointed out. Liam settled back into his command chair, feeling the tension in his shoulders ease slightly. Well, looks like the real negotiations are about to begin. Contact the Admiral and let him know we've got a situation, but it's under control, mostly. And the Confederacy ships, Liam smiled grimly. Let's see how they like being outgunned for a change. 12 hours later, Liam found himself in what the Confederacy called a harmony chamber. Essentially, a conference room designed to accommodate various species' environmental needs. The air was thicker than Earth's standard and had a faint floral scent that made him slightly lightheaded. Around an elaborate table fashioned from some iridescent material sat the Confederacy Council representatives, Ambassador Mitchell and his team, and Admiral Kowalski, who had arrived with surprising speed once Liam's initial report had made it back to Earth Command. Let me be perfectly clear, the Admiral was saying, his bushy white eyebrows drawn together in a fearsome scowl. Earth will not surrender its defensive technologies to any foreign power, no matter how well-established or well-intentioned. The technologies in question are not merely defensive, the insectoid counselor chittered. The quantum torpedo alone could destabilize an entire star system, which is precisely why we've never deployed one, Mitchell pointed out smoothly. It remains a prototype, a deterrent. A deterrent against what? The Cloud being asked. The galaxy has been at peace for millennia under Confederacy oversight. Admiral Kowalski leaned forward. Has it really? Because from where we're sitting, it looks like the Confederacy maintains peace by ensuring no one else has the capability to challenge your authority. The feline counselor's tail swished in agitation. Our methods have prevented countless wars and saved billions of lives. At the cost of technological freedom, Liam observed. An acceptable trade, Xyloplith declared with a dismissive wave of tentacles. Not to humans, the Admiral stated flatly. We've had our share of wars, conflicts, and near-extinction events. We've learned that the only lasting security is the ability to defend yourself. A primitive perspective, the insectoid said. Admiral Kowalski's smile was cold. Perhaps, but it's kept us alive through our own bloody history, and it will keep us alive in a galaxy that, frankly, doesn't seem as peaceful as advertised. Ambassador Mitchell, ever the diplomat, intervened before tensions could escalate further. Perhaps we're approaching this from the wrong angle. The Confederacy seeks stability. Earth seeks security and sovereignty. Surely there's a middle ground that respects both perspectives. The negotiations continued in this vein for hours. Liam, having said his piece earlier, was content to observe the diplomatic dance. He had to admit that Mitchell was good at his job, finding compromises where none seemed possible and gradually steering the conversation toward mutual benefit rather than conflict. By the time they took a recess, a tentative framework had been established. Earth would join the Confederacy as a provisional member with special status regarding its military capabilities. In exchange, Earth would agree not to proliferate its more destructive technologies to other species and would participate in joint security councils. As they filed out of the Harmony Chamber for a break, Admiral Kowalski fell in a step beside Liam. You did good, Commander, he said quietly. Your little standoff gave us the leverage we needed for these talks. Thank you, sir, but it was a close thing. If you hadn't shown up with the 7th Fleet. Oh, this isn't the 7th Fleet, the Admiral said with a chuckle. It's elements of the 3rd, 5th, and 7th, plus some experimental craft from Titan shipyards that we've been dying to show off. Liam blinked. Sir, with all due respect, you brought 3 battle groups to a diplomatic meeting? I brought 3 battle groups to back up one lone destroyer that was facing an unknown alien power with a history of technological subjugation. The diplomatic meeting was just a bonus. You knew, Liam realized. You knew the Confederacy wasn't as benevolent as they pretended to be. The Admiral's eyes twinkled. Let's just say our initial intelligence suggested they might be more interested in our technology than our friendship. We needed to know for sure, and we needed to demonstrate that humanity isn't easily intimidated. You provided both, rather spectacularly. So I was bait. I prefer advanced diplomatic representative with tactical capabilities. Sounds better in the mission reports. Liam shook his head in disbelief. And the Audacity? Why send the most heavily armed ship in the quadrant if you suspected trouble? Because, Commander Frost, sometimes the best way to avoid a fight is to make sure the other side knows exactly what they'd be getting into. Your ship may have an unfortunate name and inappropriate slogans painted on the hull, but there's a reason it's the flagship of its class. Before Liam could respond, they were approached by Coordinator Xyloplith, who had apparently been waiting for them in the corridor. Admiral Kowalski, Commander Frost. The alien greeted them. Tentacles moving in what they had learned was a sign of formal respect. I wish to speak with you privately, away from the official proceedings. Of course, Coordinator, the Admiral replied with perfect politeness. How can we help you? The alien's many eyes blinked in sequence. I must confess something that cannot be officially acknowledged in Council. Your arrival has disrupted certain power dynamics within the Confederacy. I'm shocked, Liam deadpanned. What my colleague means, the Admiral interjected, is that this comes as a surprise to us. It should not, Xyloplith said. For 3,000 cycles, the founding species of the Confederacy have maintained technological superiority over all new members. It is unspoken policy to ensure this continues through the protocols you experienced. Technology confiscation, disguised as security concerns, Liam translated. Precisely. But your species' response, both your initial refusal and the subsequent arrival of your fleet, has created a precedent. Already 3 other recently joined species have cited the Earth exception in refusing technological inspections. The Admiral's eyebrows rose. Is that a problem for you, Coordinator? Personally, no. The alien's voice dropped lower. There are many within the Confederacy who have long believed our approach to new species was counterproductive. Your arrival may accelerate needed reforms. You're welcome, Liam offered. Do not mistake this for gratitude, Commander, Xyloplith clarified. Change is always difficult, and there will be resistance. But know that you have allies within the Confederacy who respect your species' stance, even if we cannot openly support it yet. With that cryptic message delivered, the alien departed, leaving Liam and the Admiral looking after it. Well, Liam said after a moment, that was unexpected, was it? The Admiral smiled. Oppressive systems rarely maintain perfect control. There are always those within who recognize the flaws and wait for an opportunity to address them. And where that opportunity? It seems humanity has a talent for disruption, even on a galactic scale. The Admiral clapped him on the shoulder. Come on, Commander. We have more negotiations to attend, and I suspect they just got a lot more interesting. 3 days later, Liam stood on the observation deck of the Audacity, watching as Earth's first official embassy to the Galactic Confederacy was established aboard the station. The diplomatic team would remain, while the military vessels, including his own, would return to Earth space with the newly negotiated treaty. Penny for your thoughts, Commander, Diana said, joining him at the viewport. Just thinking about how differently this all could have gone, Liam replied. If we'd sent a science vessel or a diplomatic ship as requested, they would have scanned it, found minimal defenses, and proceeded with their standard technology suppression protocol. Diana finished for him. Instead, They scanned us and immediately knew they were in for a fight they might not win. And now, we're provisional members with special military dispensation and apparently inspiring reform movements within the Confederacy itself. Liam shook his head. Not bad for a mission that started with me spilling coffee on myself. Diana smiled. The universe works in mysterious ways. That it does. Liam turned away from the viewport. Prepare the ship for departure. We've got a long journey home, and I want to be back in Earth space before the Confederacy changes its mind about us. You really think they might? No, Liam admitted. But I've developed a healthy skepticism about galactic politics over the last few days. Understandable. Diana hesitated. For what it's worth, sir, I think you struck exactly the right balance out there. Enough force to demand respect. Enough restraint to avoid actual conflict. That's the job, isn't it? Showing the flag without starting a war. Liam smiled. Even if our flag happens to have a round and find out painted across it. Especially then, Diana replied with a grin. As they made their way back to the bridge, Liam reflected that humanity's introduction to the galactic community hadn't gone according to anyone's plan. Not Earth's, not the Confederacy's. But maybe that was for the best. Humans had never been good at following others' rules anyway. The galaxy, it seemed, would just have to adjust to humanity's approach to diplomacy. Peace through strength, respect through capability, and just enough audacity to keep everyone on their toes. It wasn't the most elegant philosophy, perhaps, but as the Audacity broke orbit and set course for home, Liam had a feeling it would serve humanity well among the stars. Behind them, the Confederacy Council was already dealing with formal protests from 17 member species demanding the same terms as Earth. Change, as Coordinator Xyloplith had observed, was difficult. But sometimes all it took was one ship with an attitude and enough firepower to make the galaxy take notice. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not with a whisper, but with a bang. Or rather, with the credible threat of one, just the way Liam liked it. The end.